huge presence on social media, more than 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, on Instagram, everywhere.
I became one of the youngest traders on Wall Street. I was doing really well in corporate. I had everything that I wanted. I bought the house in the neighborhood that I used to drive around with my mom when we were growing up. You know, I had a brand new Cadillac, like an Escalade. My kids went on vacation. They had horses, and I lost everything. I went through a really bad divorce, and I had to file bankruptcy.
One person who's always on the news and every day on the news is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What do you think of his PR strategy?
I think the one thing about him is
Today we're sitting down with celebrity publicist Danielle Sabrina. From high school dropout, high school mother, to award-winning publicist and ranked top 5 company by Entrepreneurs Magazine here in the United States. Welcome, Danielle Sabrina.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am very delighted to have you. We met first time just for lunch a couple blocks away here in Sweet Green. I love that place.
I know.
And since then, you've been over and over on my screen. Every time I open up Instagram, you're the first person I see. And if I close Instagram and switch to LinkedIn, the same thing happens again.
I know. I'm like, you're going to see me no matter what.
Are you paying just that people you need to get to become a client?
Yeah, I'm literally like only Target then.
Oh, how's that? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about PR. Newspapers are dying.
Yeah.
Is PR dying too?
No, and definitely not. It's never. I know, like, there's a lot of things in journalism that are changing, and the way we consume media is changing. But PR in itself is a way that you share your thought leadership. It's how you express yourself to the world. It's really comes down to marketing, and marketing is never going to go away. So there might be different channels, there might be different ways there. You know, we definitely, like, I would say years ago, you could get into a magazine or be on the news, and then boom, like your business would just like blow up. And now we have a lot of streaming situations. So like that, someone might not be watching the news live. They might not be watching that show immediately. So the good part about it is that, like, it can continue to trickle in. I would say it's like permanent real estate online, but like we might not always get those big hits. I mean, it can happen, but sometimes it happens in like publications or news outlets that you know, that are unsuspecting. Like, we've gotten our clients in articles in like a magazine, or a publication like My Body Green, and then there's tons of sales to their website, but like you might not normally think that.
So if you could wish for any outlet to be featured on, what would that be?
Me? Moi? I think I'd want to be able to do Barrymore show because I really like her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was a Playgirl podcast?
Oh, no, it's a top show. Yeah, I know. I think I'd want to be on that. I mean, obviously, Good Morning America would be amazing. But yeah, I like any media opportunities. I think it's fun to share your story and just get out there.
Nice. So we're talking about the best media outlets or the best shows to be featured on.
Well, and best in general is also like, it depends on who your target audience is, because you could be on like the YouTube channel or like someone's show on YouTube or even a podcast. And if it hits your target audience, like our client Dan Rowage, we had him on this, I can't remember the name of the exact YouTube show, but it was super niche, right? Like not a ton of like viewers or anything, but it was really niche. And after that show, he got a ton of business. Like, I want to say like $20,000 or $30,000 worth of new business, something around that. But it was just from that one thing where like he could have been on a much bigger outlet, like maybe Fox News or ABC News or something, and it may not have translated to sales so quickly.
I remember when I started out as an entrepreneur, I always wanted to get into that Forbes 30 under 30ness.
I mean, that's the list. Shout out Randall Lane.
It's your person there, so you can bring in people?
Yeah, well, Randall's the one who started the list.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to be on that list. Now I'm over 30, so there's maybe something else I can come up with. Yeah. I know there's in Germany a capital 40 under 40. But anyway, I think it's simply super inspiring to have these lists. Would you say if you haven't altered yourself, it makes sense to create one of these things yourself?
Like come up with your own list. Yeah. I mean, why not? Like you come up with your reward system for clients or your target audience. I think it's really important to just be super known in your space and be the best that like have everyone that know, like they put content out there to help other people who are doing what you're doing and be that level of an expert that like the people in your space are looking to you for advice. And then clients also who are like, okay, well, they're the best of the best because everyone, you know, that's where all the other agency owners are going or whatever to learn. They know that you are at the top of your game and that sets you apart. So if you did want to do like a list or something in your industry, I think that would be cool. And it would be a good biz dev effort too.
Nice. We started right with the topic, but I want to go a little bit back and cover what the fuck is PR. There's so much to it. And I mean, it's news, it's TV, it's blog outlets, it's probably also legal. We talked about YouTube shows. There's got so many different topics to that. Can you give us a whole explanation what PR means?
Yeah, I would love to. Okay. It doesn't mean press release. PR stands for public relations. And I want to make that differentiator because a lot of times clients are like, oh, well, I use PR, use Wire, Business Wire, whatever distribution. And they immediately think like that's PR in their mind. Like, and then they're like, well, it didn't really do anything or I didn't get any traction from it. And that is not at all. Like a press release is just simply like a piece of communication. And if you put it out on the wire, it's literally just re-syndicating it, which means it's just publishing exactly what you wrote to other publications, but they don't necessarily stay on the site. So it's definitely part of your strategy, but you don't just like put it out and think that that is PR. And I have a lot to say on that topic too, because some people do have something really great to announce and they try to take it in-house and they do it themselves without doing proper research on how to do it. And they put out a press release and then you just lost a mega opportunity to get like a huge feature in Fortune or the Wall Street Journal or New York Times or these big publications because you put the press release out when there's actually a strategy behind securing features that you see in like TechCrunch and all those big publications.
Because the thing is, we all have to realize all these magazines, all these news outlets, they're always looking for good stories, right? And if you have a good story, they're super keen to take it. You don't even have to pay them.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yes, they are always looking for good stories, but not everyone's a good storyteller. So that's something like I know, like I've heard sometimes, you know, clients will be like, well, aren't they always looking for content? And it's like, no, they're not looking for content. Like you're not doing them a favor at all. They're doing you a favor. So like treat it accordingly. But with that being said, like a good story that fits, just because you have a good story, and you're hitting up the reporter at, let's say, TechCrunch who covers funding announcements, it doesn't matter how good your story is if it doesn't tie into a funding announcement, they can't report on it because that's not their beat. So that's where there's also a disconnect, is that you're not always, sometimes it's not about your story, it's about it's about what's going on in your industry in general, or how does this affect their general audience. So it's more along those ways of being like a really good resource for that. I also want to differentiate that I think is important is when we're talking about what earned media is, because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I paid to get in this publication or that one. And that's a different strategy. Like that, those are either sponsored articles, or if they don't say they're sponsored, there's some, you were able to secure that however way, but you can't just have these like really promotional articles out about you, or all of a sudden you're all over the cover of all these random public magazines, or even if it's like somewhat of a well-known magazine, and then not have any earned media. It just looks so fake, and it defeats the purpose. So you could do that and sprinkle those in if you had a strong earned media strategy too. So when someone looks you up, it's like, oh, okay, like I see why this person is on the cover of this magazine, or I see this, and I see that happen with people who are really wealthy and they can afford to like buy their way into things. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to, like, if you didn't start your earned media strategy when you started building your brand, and now you have this huge brand, but you didn't build your media or yourself in the media, and so you are a relatively unknown like founder or CEO, maybe your company is doing hundreds of millions, you have to start from scratch. You still need to become a source. You still need to be getting, features and mentions and lesser known publications.
So let's say I'm founder and I have a successful company and I want to be famous or I want to work on my PR strategy. What's a good way to start and what should I look for if I'm choosing a PR firm?
Well, I think you should, when you're looking, this is my advice that I give to everyone, is ask the PR agency or the publicist, show me your live placements in the last 30 days across all of your clients. Show me what you're doing. Don't tell me what you can do. Show me.
Because everybody tells you, I bring you on the Forbes and on Fortune and this and that.
Yeah.
And then you're just on, I don't know.
You could say, show me like a similar retainer size as to what I'm looking to spend. What were the live placements for the last 30 days? Don't let them pull just like your top tier ones that are like the ones that are, like the big pieces that they secured. And you look at the date that might have been from last year, like you want to see what is the last 30 days. Be great if they could show you 90 days. That would be awesome. Like, because what you're looking for is consistency, that they can consistently deliver. So that's something that I think can really help you differentiate something that's like, oh, this is, because we're in PR, we sell. So you don't want to be sold something. And that happens a lot when like they go in with a certain expectation and then they have a bad experience with the agency, but it's because they didn't really truly line up what the capabilities were.
Okay. And I think if you categorize all these different medias, a friend of mine told me back then that there are kind of like 3 categories. So like if you want to do PR, there's on one tier there's regional media, right? Like something in LA would be KTLA5 or so, like the local news or newspapers or local TV station. Then you have like the dedicated media for your niche.
Yep.
So let's say maybe a TechCrunch if you're a software company or like something very niche. And then there's like national and global. Would you agree on that, or is there anything missing?
I mean, there definitely is. And then there's also like all the YouTube channels and so other media platforms. But I think that was more of like, we don't really like break it down that way at our agency because I believe in how I built many brands and have been very successful doing it is tackle all of it. So even if you're a local business, you still need global press because people find you online. So whether you're getting a Forbes piece, but you're located in some small town somewhere, that's going to have a huge impact on your domain authority, just that traffic to your website, just your overall authority. So we don't really like to like differentiate. Of course, we'll do like localized press for people in whatever local area that they're in. And then also sometimes we do local press in other areas too. And our clients will just fly out to be on set.
Okay, nice. And how did you build your brand? Like you do PR as company, but obviously you have a huge presence on social media, more than 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, on Instagram, everywhere. How do you build up that? And how do you back this by PR work?
Well, let me tell you, I went through a really bad divorce and I lost everything. I literally like my home, I lived in New Hampshire, so the winters are kind of brutal. And I was traveling and a pipe froze and it froze over the entire house. And by the time there's really nothing I could do about it. But by the time I got back and then unthawed, the whole house like collapsed inward and ruined everything. And so then not that. And then I had my divorce. I lost everything. I had to file bankruptcy. And I was in the financial space before because obviously as a trader, you don't know, you have to hold a Series 7 license and a few others. But if you are like, your credit is bad or things like bankruptcy, like broker-dealers don't want to hold your license anymore. So that wasn't even a space that I could go back into. And at the time, I had left it anyways. I didn't want to go back into it. And I had opened up some retail stores. And I also had to like let those go when my divorce happened. So I really hit like rock bottom and I had to start over and I just didn't know what I was going to do, but I started on my healing journey. And so something I promised myself was that I'm not going to rebuild on a shaky foundation because I felt like I had built myself up. I became one of the administrators on Wall Street. I was doing really well in corporate. I had everything that I wanted. I bought the house in the neighborhood that I used to drive around with my mom when we were growing up, and she'd be like, imagine what her life would be like if we lived in that house or any of these houses in this neighborhood, and I bought that house. You know, I had a brand new Cadillac, an Escalade. My kids went on vacation. They had horses. We had everything that I thought, I was married. I was like, okay, well, I did what I thought in my mind. If I had this when I was growing up, or if I had this now, that would equal happy life. And it didn't. And I felt like I was dying inside. And so when everything had just kind of crumbled and I lost everything and I had to start over, building that foundation was so incredibly important to me. And I just ripped myself apart and opened up any piece of me that was like, I'm not going to hide from that anymore. And I took accountability for every single thing that happened in my life, no matter what. I was like, that was my fault. This is me. I really took full accountability for my role I played in it, which was really healing. And it just showed a lot about me. So how I got started was I started sharing my journey online. So I started sharing how I was healing, what I was going through. And this was this was a long time ago now. And it was definitely not I feel like everybody shares their journey now, which I think that's really helpful for people. But
you were a first mover, now building and publishing is the topic, showing your wins, but also your losses. That's the thing. But back then it was new.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, nobody was doing it. Everyone was kind of looking at me like, what? I remember even had I don't know, it was one of my cousins or something that was thinking I was building urban scam. I was talking about personal branding. I'm like, what? But it was just so foreign, as I was always saying, you can make money doing whatever you love. And I was talking about personal branding. And again, this is there was really only a couple of people that were really had a personal brand. But I was sharing all of this and people were seeing the upward trajectory. And I was sharing the resources and the tools that I was using. And then Arietta Huffington asked me to write for the Huffington Post. And then I was super excited about that.
When was that?
I don't know. Do you remember? I was so 5 years ago or so. I mean, at least. In 2014? I don't know. It was a long time ago. But so I started writing for the Huffington Post, and then I really liked it. I didn't even know I could write. It took me a long time to write every article, but I got clients from it, and they wanted me to do the same thing for them. They were like, I want to write for these publications. And I was always really good at business and really good at I love the marketing. I learned every aspect of marketing myself because when I had to start over, I finally got approved for this Capital One credit card, and I had a $300 limit.
Nice.
And it was the only money I had. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a WordPress theme. I'm going to teach myself how to build a website. And I bought something else too. I think it was a copywriting course. And I learned copywriting, content marketing, funnels. I learned every single aspect. And I learned and I tested and I tested. And so I really not just taught myself, but also knew okay, I could launch this, and then it resulted in something, which is now today, I can see why I did that back then, because now I can take someone that's mediocre and look at this stuff and just up level them immediately and have them
make them excellent.
Because I know what it is. So I'm not relying on you wanting to give me the blueprint.
I think it's so important to go through a lot of stuff yourself and to know how things are done, right?
Yeah.
When I was in college, I had built as a side hustle some websites for a local restaurant or whatever, just for myself, just to check it out. And nowadays it's so good because you have the built-in bullshit detector. If you hire another company to build your website right now and they want to charge you 20 grand, they're like, hey, I can do it for 500 or 5,000 or whatever. But you instantly know what's going on. And if you dig into all these different aspects of marketing, SEO or the WordPress part or LinkedIn marketing or ads or anything. It's so important to have a holistic approach and a holistic understanding as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. And just be consistent with it. Like I started building my LinkedIn a long time ago. Like that, it's just consistency. It's not like this overnight thing. It can be, of course, everyone. I mean, people can just like go viral.
Yeah.
Like boom. But I think consistency is really important.
I want to talk to you about Ashton Hall. You seen that?
I don't know.
That's the fitness influencer guy with the morning routine.
Oh, yeah.
So that guy has a 4 hours morning routine, right? He uses a special water because in the lemons and she goes on like forever, right? Which was crazy viral. And what was the water company called?
Yeah,
Serotonin Water. They went viral on that. If you would be the CEO of that water company, how would you captivate on that?
I mean, there's just so many ways that they could. And this is like, there's so many older brands out there that I think have been really successful. And I think they're underestimating their ability to reach a younger audience and how important that is. And that's one brand that I do feel that way about. And I grew up half the time in the Saratoga Springs area. So like, I'm very familiar with the water. But I'm just happy.
So what water?
I'm a large snob. I need to
rejuvenate it.
Obviously, like, well, no, it's pretty good.
Nice.
But like, just capitalize on even at a basic level, right? Because I think something like this happens, and then people expect like that brand to do something equally as like, like do something crazy. But like, just get on the weight. At a bare minimum, get your team producing get a lot of UCG content. Yeah, just like I would just be like hitting up micro influencers, everyone to just like how many people could make like parody videos of what he did, like just making fun of what he did.
Like everybody does it.
Yeah, it's like exactly just like to capitalize on that more, but then to also look at like, hey, this is your opportunity. It may not come back around again.
And like setting out like just a bunch of cases of water, right, to different people, and it's like, hey, this is your new morning routine.
Literally.
This is followed by us, so like taking care of you guys, right?
You're like a low-key publicist.
Maybe I did some political campaigning back then in Germany, but I had like the pro-economy party.
Okay.
I love a lot. I also fucked up a lot. I was in charge for some graphics, right? And it was on like September 23, vote for FDP, which is the name of the party. And we put it on the newspaper. And then the election campaign manager called me, and I was like, on that Sunday morning, right? I was like, where there was a newspaper, like, hey, Benny, did you do this graphic? I was like, yes, I did. At the wrong date. So he called me with the H was on, I don't know, September 24th or so, and I put in September 23rd, which isn't typo. It was like 100,000 copies in the Berlin Morning Post. So it was like...
So maybe it made people talk about it though, because they're probably like, like they got more bang for their buck.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any PR fuck-up story?
I don't think so, that I am thinking of on the top of my head.
Or is there anything that where things went like a little bit south or things went slippy? I mean, when you most of the time like work for successful entrepreneurs and that it's like key people, right? It's not like you're do PR for Chevron or something.
Yeah, the blow up it's our blood point. Yeah, we don't really work with. We usually don't take on clients that are highly controversial. It's not really our agency's thing. We are like really good with our results, so we get very focused on the grow. We're really dedicated to growing brands versus putting on fires.
That's good. I have a category I want to talk to you about. This new thing we do in the podcast. We're experimenting a little bit. The podcast is on since 2 years, and we have like more than 100 episodes. But as Jess came on the team, so shout out Jess for organizing all that. We changed some of the stuff, and usually I would always just telling the story of the founder, but because it's so impressive. I could talk to you like for 2 hours just of the journey and your Waterfree journey and all that. Like,
You're so fun.
yeah, but we want to always bring value for our listeners, and so we have a category. It's called Build, Break, Boost, and basically the first question is for Build. What are you currently building?
Well, we're very data driven. So, and I really have to give like the credit to my daughter Morgan, because she has been scaling our agency, but we do PR very uniquely. Like, I don't know anyone who can get the kind of results we get, and I would literally put my name on that. And I have gone up against other even way larger agencies, and we crush it every time. So we are using different AI tools and things that are helping us scale and how we're going about doing it. I had just remember I just showed you before the show. I was like, look, I have like a data dashboard now. They're like, these are the KPIs of our team.
And then I didn't understand anything what was on, but I just saw it going upwards. So
we're so on top of everything that we really understand what's going on, and we can increase share of voice, and we're able to look at what that is in such real-time metrics, which I don't know a PR agency that operates like a tech company, that operates like a data company. Like, we are operating that in that like little trifecta. So to have a pulse immediately, because usually with campaigns, it's like, okay, you're putting out the messaging, you're pitching them, and like you're getting a couple pieces, or maybe you go through your list of contacts and they cover it or whatever. But like when you're really trying to move a whole brand forward, it is like a beast. You're moving this whole engine forward, and it's just this little team behind, even if the company has a huge team, like,
yeah.
And pushing it and being able to make data-driven decisions in real time allows us to pivot. And that's something that Morgan has implemented. So she's like, hey, this spend, this pitch took 2 hours. Why? And then we can dig it in real time. And so if you don't know your data, you don't know your company, but like, I think everyone could take a data-driven approach and how they're doing things so that you can see in real time, like where the inefficiencies are. I mean, we just literally cut out an hour or two everyone's week of just like tasks that didn't need to be done anymore because of where we're at. Plus, like doing that all the time is like, it's so competitive right now. And I think businesses are just like, we're on the brink of something really interesting with AI and what's happening. So you have to like try this, outsource this, do this, like you have to get creative. And it's like this race right now. And I don't think this is a time for anyone to be complacent. And if you're in your career, especially if you're in a PR career, like stick with it. Something big is coming. I don't know exactly what it is in our space, but something really big is happening.
But I like what you said about measuring data. In our company, I say, if you don't measure it, it's not important, right? So you have to measure it. You have to keep track of the results. Not that we're only about results and, okay, we need more revenue and this and that and that. It's just to get a better feeling, right? And to know, is this actually good, or are we only going here by gut feeling, and is this actually the right direction, right?
Right, like we've had to have conversations before with clients and just say, because sometimes like, PR is new to everyone, and they can have a team that's like, it's really new to them. And so they just don't understand why certain opportunities are being presented or why they should do something. Well, we could show them and say, hey, we're spending 30% of our time explaining to you why these opportunities are what they are. Do you want us to continue to spend that time doing that? We're happy to, or we could allocate that to more pitching, get you additional opportunities. And sometimes just showing that, you don't realize that it's taking that much time.
Yeah. Second question I want to ask you is, and we're both part of this entrepreneurs network, entrepreneurs organization, shout out DO.
Yep, shout out EO.
It's really good. Otherwise, we wouldn't met, right?
Right. I know. I love EO. It's one of the best things I've ever done personally.
Yeah. Andy Chang, he connected us at the holiday party at the infamous Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. It was amazing.
It was so fun.
Yeah, you looked amazing.
Thank you.
And one part about EO is being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing that story on your downfall and divorce and all that. This is really where I think a lot of people can relate. Everybody has trials, right? The second question is on break. What is something that recently broke or something that failed?
Let me think. I think something we are still working on is, how do you can, in a PR agency like ours, you can't just scale. Like we don't have like a button we can push. Like we have like a lead lever, so to speak, but there's no substitute for time. And so that's something that like we had to realize that was like, okay, we thought maybe if we hired people with a lot of experience, like it would be, less time, but they would get acclimated to our ways and our systems. And we just found that like the way we do things is so unique, but yet we have the data that proves that the way we do it is the right way, that, like there's a lot of like unlearning. And so when it comes to scaling, we just have to do it a little differently. And I think, there's scaling the topic in general is like right now with companies, but I think you get really focused on the revenue when you're scaling. And when you realize that, like, have you been paying attention to your profit? Have you, are you just going through all the stress of this for like essentially nothing?
So I totally can relate. So if you grow, your profit breaks. That's definitely a lesson for all entrepreneurs out there. And this is also totally fine, but it's sometimes a little bit frustrating, right?
Yeah, and sometimes you do just have to take a chance. Like you do have to just be like, okay, like I'm not going to have great profits for this quarter, and that's okay, because you know what, maybe next quarter or the quarter after that, all of a sudden you're going to 10x that number. So you have to balance between making like conservative decisions that are good for different stages of your business. Like how I operate now is not the way I had to, like the way I was able to operate as a startup, because I can't take those risks as frequently anymore because there's more people involved.
You have a big payroll, right? I mean, you're a huge team now.
Yeah, huge payroll.
Yeah. So
you're Miami. So but you have to move at it that like mature. You have to mature your own as an entrepreneur. And I'm so lucky that I have Morgan, because she is so grounded that I'm like always like, let's do this, let's do that, we can do this, and she's like, no. So we have to do, like, it's really good. And most entrepreneurs don't have someone that can be like, enough, put the brakes on, this is what we're doing, and be someone you can trust to like, that you can stay out of the weeds and stay where you're really great and channel that energy. And so I think that's like, I've been just doing content because it's like, I have so much energy for innovation that if I don't have something to solve or do, like I can, and I think this is true with all entrepreneurs, like we'll create a problem to solve.
Oh yeah.
We will solve a problem that doesn't exist. So I'm like, okay, I really have trust in Morgan because she has scaled the agency. We wouldn't be where we are without her. So I trust her to make all of those decisions. So I channel my energy into the things that I love doing and also that I'm best at. And then I have all this extra energy to put towards our clients and like just ideas. And I'm always coming up with something just on of like, oh, you should do this, that, and that's growing their brand and I'm growing mine too.
Yeah. So you said PR firms, your secret sauce is definitely data, but I think another secret sauce you have are your daughters. Not just as you're working very close, because this can also be a challenge. I know family businesses which have definitely challenged on that, but I don't want to tap into that right now. I think their network and their generation is so amazing. It brings in a great talent. And I was at your event recently, the one you did in North Hollywood, and it was so good. There were like 100 people, publicists, PR people, and I learned so much. And but like I think like 6 or 7 people from your team, and I was like, oh wow, I would hire them all. Like these are so good. They're all invested, and I don't remember like Morgan introduced me to one girl, and she's like, if you want to get on any publication, she's that girl. She can get you it. And all the girls like
Cassie.
Yeah, that's Cassie. Yeah. So I think that's amazing. It's so much about finding that good talent, nurturing that, and keeping them with the team, right?
We just have rock stars. Like every single person on our team is so incredible that as individuals, as just like their creativity, their dedication. Like, I do think having a family business, we have that energy. We do consider our team family just because we're already a family. So we don't even think about it any other way. You know, it's just like, this is also our family. But yeah, the team has been incredible. Like, I don't even know how lucky in general to have the type of friends I have, the type of network I have, the type of team I have. I mean, I just have like so many incredible people in my life that are just like, I don't even know how I'm so lucky, to be honest.
That's good. So, coming to the third question.
Yeah.
Boost. What's inspiring or energizing you right now? It's boosting you.
I think that I see an opportunity in my space right now, and I want to continue to build this legacy with my daughters. It's been incredible journey to be able to spend time with them, and we are building together, because when I was younger, I was like, oh, one of the youngest traders, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, it's great, but you know what that cost me? I completely missed their childhood, because I was working like 24/7 every day. Like, I never saw them. If I did, it was like,
How old are you when you became a mother?
when
When you got the kids?
I had them both by the time I was 19.
Wow.
So Hazy, my youngest, they're very close. They're
Yeah.
they're only a year and a half apart. But I was already trading by the time she was like 3 months old, I think.
Crazy.
So I was like breastfeeding, getting up at like 3 a.m. So I was also trading in the overseas market. So I needed to be at the desk at like 5 or 6 a.m.
I should do a video about that morning routine.
I literally
to see that gone viral.
need that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like, I missed so much of their, and anytime I was home, I was just like, this is Austin. So like, I didn't want to play with them. I didn't want to like do anything. I was just so tired. So I think this is like now we are like, it's like, I'm getting paid back for all the healing that I've done, and like, I'm getting rewarded, and the reward is that like, we get to do this together, and it's been so successful. We're so like, it's just great.
Nice. What's the best business you know? Besides your business, but if you could choose like one business, one brand you could have founded.
Poppy.
Poppy, yeah.
Like, hands down, Poppy.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, why did the Poppy? Like, I worked so hard, but yeah, like,
Why Poppy?
I mean, what she came up with was amazing. Also, like, yeah, healthy soda for, like, it started off with healthy soda for kids, and it's like, that's great. Like, such a great thing, you know. And then it turned into a really cool brand, and you can just tell that she's someone who like listened, because there's a lot of really good brands out there that I'm just like, oh, your branding kind of sucks, so you're not you're never gonna get that there the way you think you're going to. But I mean, who doesn't want to sell to Pepsi for
$2.1 billion?
Yeah.
I take that.
Yeah.
Do you know if they still had majority of shares?
No, I have no idea.
Oh yeah, but they should be fine, huh?
Yeah, I think they're fine.
Yeah, I think it was so smart, and this whole, what's it called, like light soda, or like this,
The original one?
You know, the area where they're in, like it's not a soft drink, functional soft drink.
I think it's
somebody
functional something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was at a event the other day, and got a drink, and was like one of the root beers or so, and I looked it up. And usually I don't know, I drink what's there. Right?
Yeah,
Looked it up. It was a small bottle, and Wunderberg or so, right?
Oh, okay.
And I looked it up. Guess how many grams of sugar?
No idea.
40 grams. I was like, how can you put
What?
how is this still liquid?
Yeah.
And it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
And if you had a poppy or an Olipop or so, it's 4 or 5 grams.
And they're so good.
Yeah.
Another
but
drink
like keen.
I knew it was gonna start blowing up. Did you try the Hi-O's at my event? Okay, so it's a function. You guys try Hi-O.
I got a dairy.
Coors bought them, and they just invested in them or something.
Okay.
And I was like, I knew it. I hand them out to all my friends. I'm like, oh, this company should invest in, get in on it. I don't know if they're still getting investments, but I knew it. It's so good. It's like a functional. It's like makes you kind of relax, but it's not like a stimulant. It's really good. You should try it. And the June Chime's my other one. They sponsored the event too.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. If you had unlimited marketing budget, or if you had unlimited budget for any marketing or PR stuff, what would you do?
I think I would create my own show.
TV show?
Yeah.
Any specific channel, any outlet?
I think I would help create fun episodes that somehow incorporated clients that could help elevate them and just have fun with things. Like if I had the money to like produce something and that was like we could just play with it, I would love to just figure out some like fun PR, like you're saying, like stunts, or just do things that are like you just wouldn't think of, you know, and just test it out and just see what hits.
Oh, okay, kind of like a TV show
Kind of.
PR?
Yeah, like
nice.
just different PR stuff.
That's cool.
That's what I would
cool.
want to
like that.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I know, I think it would be fun, but I think I would need like a really big budget for it because I think some of these stunts you would really need like a...
It depends. I think you can do a lot of stuff if you're just like very creative.
Yeah.
But of course, I don't know, like if you want to grab the Empire State Building or so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I want to do like crazy. I would want to do like really push your imagination and have like different think tanks come in and just have it be fun, you know, just like a fun, entertaining thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is possible now with just 3D. So I know, let's say you wrap the Empire State Building in a poppy can or whatever.
Right.
You can do this pretty easy, or like all these fake banners that come down and 3D or so. But to be honest, I'm actually pretty annoyed by that because I know how it's done. I know it's fake. It's like just get back on and do like real stuff, right? Or go out and stuff. I saw a crazy guerrilla campaign the other day. You probably also know the guy, Todd Becker, also a lawyer in LA, and he does a lot of stuff for like the Eden Fires. Like he's a lawyer, helps with all that.
Yeah.
And he did a guerrilla campaign, and he gave people free gas. He took over a gas station and said everybody who takes a flyer of my law firm gets a full tank of gas for free.
I mean, that's like the oldest sense of PR. You know, like when it really comes down to it, like everyday marketing really is like, well, because you want, so what you do is with something like that, and then it's like you publicize it. You get the press involved, you're putting it out there, you're creating buzz. Like PR essentially is like manufactured momentum.
Do you see any niche or any let's say brands? It's like I watch it all the time, like in sports or so. Like there's so much opportunity, but it's not leveraged, and they don't use the opportunities they have. I mean, let's say the Lakers or so, right? There's a new player coming or all that. They have so much opportunity on their channel, and they captivate pretty good on that, like on Instagram or YouTube and all that. But besides that, with local news or with newspapers or so, they don't do anything. Like, do you think it's just not a port for them, or they don't have the capacity for that, or what do you think about that?
I mean, I just feel like they probably don't need to, or that's their mindset around it. And I think that happens with a lot of big established brands, like we're talking about with Saratoga Water. Like that's, you know, you forget that like you built, you're established, but you kind of take things for granted also that like you're relevant today, but like, are you going to continue to be relevant? And obviously something like the Lakers, like that is like, obviously they're NBA, you know, like, but I think the brands that play it too safe are like tech companies, to be honest, like the enterprise technology companies. I think that they need to, an enterprise in general, like move away from the corporate stuffy feeling because of how their younger workforce is expecting the companies to look, act, and feel.
Who do you think is a person who does really good PR?
Me.
Besides that, anyone that comes to mind? Maybe controversial. Like
I think Barbara Cochran does a really good job.
Who's
with
that?
herself. She's one of the sharks.
Okay.
Yeah. If you look back on the stuff she did with her real estate company to make herself has like, I mean, her move to get on Shark Tank was like a PR move, you know, like I think she does really great. And then I think another person I think is doing a really good job is Cody Sanchez. She's she's been just creating all the content, but I also like that she's not forgetting about her press either. Like you can see that she's getting a ton of press on herself, which is really important because another female entrepreneur that I like a lot is Layla Hormozi, but she doesn't really get herself out in the press.
You also met her, right?
Yeah. So, but she doesn't really get herself out in the press. So like I just feel like she's missing a huge opportunity is she could be getting more positioned to be like Forbes richest women or on the Forbes list or just the more significant press. And this is a perfect example of someone who has like a crazy successful company. I mean, I don't even know what acquisition Tom is at, but it's going to be at least 100 million. I think.
You say they have a $100 million portfolio, but they should show some numbers.
Well, regardless, like they have this successful company and this is what happened, and she's doing great getting herself out there in content, but like she doesn't have press on herself. And I would just like, as a female entrepreneur, I would just like to see her building that side too, because again, like you get so big and then you're like, you don't want to be answering general press inquiries unless it's like a full-blown feature on you. And it's like when you forget, when you are not a source for everything that you can be, whether it's just like a leadership question or, it's a lot of work for the founder too. Like with PR, it is not like, it's, you have to answer these questions. You have to do the interviews. Like it's not something that someone can just do for you, which a lot of times, like that's how we become successful is delegating, but this is the one thing you can't delegate.
So one person who's always on the news and every day on the news is President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What do you think of his PR strategy? And I mean, you can like
elected for another term.
Yeah.
Like enough said. Like obviously, because I think the one thing about him is he is just who he is, and I think that a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to be them completely give their opinions publicly or be like there's a lot of talk around authenticity, but people think, like, oh, I'm being that. It's like, do you know how to be authentic and vulnerable? Like, do you even know yourself? Because sometimes that's another question too, where like he obviously knows himself. He doesn't care that he has certain beliefs or thinks certain ways, and that's his strategy. And he's targeting the people that he knows that he'll probably be able to get elected by, and he did.
So you can hate him or love him, but would say he's smart in terms of PR.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. What could we learn from that? Like, let's say.
Right. I mean, I think a positive that you could take from it is just like, there's an audience for everyone. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be liked by everybody. So just be liked by the people who already align with you. And
we talked before we started recording about being afraid of being cancelled, right? Yeah. I said like when you were in your 20s, nothing of that existed, kind of. Yeah. So should we? So should we speak up more? Like just be like, okay, this is what I think. I think this is nice and this sucks, and be more bold.
Yeah, and then just apologize if you mess up. Like I think that's something I'm personally really good at, and I can really overreact to things sometimes. But I'm
just you overreact. Do an example.
Yeah, I mean, I will misread a text message. I will and
then you get mad and
I'll send this, and then I realize I misread it or something. Or I will overreact to something. But you just have to be willing to pick up the phone or whatever and be like, I'm sorry.
Be responsible for you.
Yeah, just be like, hey, I'm nobody's perfect, and people expecting other people to be perfect also is not the way to grow. People are allowed to make mistakes. I just try to have the general assumption that whatever the person did to piss me off or irritate me was not intentional. And so that's I try to really hold that even when I'm just looking at them what is actually going up here? But yeah, just people just be like, I'm sorry. It was being a person. It is what it is. If you get canceled because you say something, you have some learning to grow.
It's only a cancel forever, right? A lot of people get got canceled. They're off the radar they're just down for 6 months and then they're back, right? Exactly. I mean, unless you do really crazy shit, but right. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, that's just who you are. That's who you are. And honestly, you'll probably find an audience for yourself.
That's so good. Yeah, I learned so much today. Thank you so much for sharing all the insights. Yeah. We should definitely do this again. Okay. Maybe in part 2. So
see you next week. No.
Yeah, you should come back. All the listeners out there, check it out. Special shout out to everyone who's watching us on YouTube. We doing a video podcast, and I have one last question for you. Who should be invited to the podcast? Who would be valuable? Who has some fun stories to tell?
I have a lot of people. I think you should. She's really busy, so I don't know. Honestly, you should have on Borden. If she'll come on, my daughter. But if not, her Ashley Stahl, who does the TED Talks.
Ashley Stahl? Okay, go check her out. Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much again. That was amazing. Please check out Society 22 PR.
Yes.
And join one of the next events, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. See you guys.